Pyjamas. I've never called him, I always call him Nip. I've never gone for the full name, but I full named him today because I want them to perform demo.
Any Mickeys?
I do not want to see a repeat of map number 1.
It's Villa, which it's not the strongest map for M80. It's one that they don't play all too often. I think the last time they played it, they lost it. I think at Wolves against, I think it was in overtime, and they lost it. So it was close, but still lost. And then I think the last time they won it, it was back in NAL stage. And I think they beat Sonics on it in a best of 3. So yeah, it's. I mean, we're going all the way back there. That's a long time ago. We didn't see them play it during the qualifiers, for example. They didn't play it in any of their best of 3 games at the major. It was the best of 1 that Wolves beat them in. So I'm excited to see what M80 bring to the table. NIP, this has been a map which has always been a good one for them. It's always struck me as, yeah, this is always going to be a favourable map for NIP. It's certainly one of their stronger maps.
If you want to throw it back even further, back in the day when we casted LATAM, NIP had something like a 13-month win streak on Villa, and it wasn't through lack of playing it. They were good at it, and they would play it whenever they wanted to, or whenever their opponent wanted to. Obviously, one of the things that's been both difficult and exciting for this event is because we're in a bit of an off stage for Siege, and this has been the first event since Copenhagen Major. We haven't seen a regular stage play. So it's very difficult to know where to drag the data from.
Where everyone's at, really, isn't it?
Where's everybody at? Because the game's changed so much. We've got the introduction of new operators, things have changed, sites have been reworked, gadgets rebalanced. So it makes a lot of small micro changes that really add up to, you know, they might have liked this map back then, but what's changed between now and then? So let's throw in and see where we end up here. NIP starting things off on the defense. M80, they're going to be starting things off on the attack. They were blazing earlier over on border. Let's see if they can continue that here and now.
Look at the bans. Pretty tame for the most part. Strong operator still available. I mean, Mira's up, for example, Ollie, which is pretty good for this bomb site specifically. Over towards Aviator and Games. I'm in a bit of a Mira rut at the moment, aren't I? I'm hard on about Mira quite a lot, but I think she's just, on certain sites and certain bomb sites, it's just a no-brainer.
Hyper-focused on the Mira, aren't you?
Honestly, I really am.
Room free. Do you want to talk about it?
I think it's just because I just enjoy playing Mira, because it's just a freebie kill most of the time. You know, you're sat by a Mira window, it's quite easy, isn't it?
We're not here for the freebie kills, then we're here for the win.
Well, I mean, some of these players might be here for the freebie kills to get some money.
Some of them might be here for the freebie kills.
Get the extra.
That is very true. Earlier in the day, M80 played G2 on this very map. It was the first map in their best of 3 series. They won 7-4. They were good for 3 attacking rounds and 4 defending rounds here. So I'm expecting to see them do well on the attack here. An equal split of the attack would be very nice for them if they could achieve that. What a shot! Excuse me, Gomez! Pino's just been rinsed. Dare I say it? He hit him with a turn and burn.
Turn and burn. It's a classic from you. You get the checklist, see how many you've beat for it. I don't use any of my old sayings anymore. You know, I've evolved past that.
A bit closer.
Observation blockers. Note on that, Ollie. That top red stairs area. A lot of drones pass through that. Being able to block off lines of sight is going to be really helpful. And oh, look at the refrags. Just keep coming in. Cycle 2 of them. The Warden. I'm shocked Warden is allowed to be played. I don't know why teams are not banning him. I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, you look what we've removed here. We've removed a Cade and an Azami.
I just think Warden's better than both of them.
Azami seems to be the hot pick at the minute. Everyone's banning the Azami.
I think Azami's annoying more than anything. Warden's just like... It's the gun, it's the gun. It's literally, it's the new 1.5x crutch. Same way we looked at Alibi, same way we looked at Oryx. That's now who Warden is. All the 1.5x players have just flocked to it like a moth.
Yeah, NIP have really flocked to those 1.5s as well. Seen a lot of form play. And it's literally just for the scope.
Of course it is.
You know, it really is not for the gadget.
Some people show their true colors. Who are the weak? Who are the strong? Honestly, I would love to see what happened if the 1.5x got taken off the G36Cs. So many players would be out of the job potentially, Ollie. Who knows?
Down to the job centre.
Tell you, a lot of people will be playing Ace all of a sudden. We've got a flurry of support players hitting all of a sudden all around the place.
M80 don't really have too much to go on here. They've got a lot of utility, but are they going to get into position to use it? The mute jammers are causing them a little bit of a problem. The proximity alarms as well, giving further information away. Diaz and Iconic, they're fairly split up. They don't really have a plan. The diffuser cold on the ground, NIP know this. All they're trying to do now is just try and keep a hold of it. Seeing a little bit of a peek there from Cons. Really should double dip onto that as Iconic makes his way up the red stairs. Potentially look to hop himself into sight, but without the kit, it's going to be very difficult to do anything. Gets a great shot there over onto Cons. The diffuser can now be collected. With 6 seconds left, are you going to get it down? The answer is looking like a no. 3 kills for Psycho. Wizard mopping things up. Looks like that little team talk outside from Chubbs did the business, at least for round 1.
Has indeed. NIP leading for the first time in this series. And Psycho, all credit to him. A very opportunistic double kill. Wait to see, you know, the information come in from the team. Obviously his team dying around him, but he just says, you know what, I need to get some kills back here. And he finds 2 of them just lining up towards that red stairs. That's really all of the action went down. Only was that one specific area on the map. This right here, Muzi fighting everyone. And obviously Psycho trying to support him, moves in, finds 2. That moment right there for me is kind of where they won the round, isn't it?
It's great being able to go back and see these replays as well for the kills that we missed in the fray of things, because obviously when there's multiple kills going down, it's difficult to catch them all. We get to go back and see it. Now, do we want to credit that to the observation blockers demo? Do we want to say that the observation blockers removed any ability to drone there, and that then made it a little bit difficult? There was some mute jammers thrown into that mixture too. So it did become a point in a position where you've kind of just got to face check it or deal with those observation blockers and waste utility on them.
I think observation blocker plus mute jammer is really the combination that works well. Observation blockers on their own aren't that great. I really don't see the benefit of bringing them. We haven't really seen it to the extent of what we see other gadgets like, for example.
True.
We've seen more barbed wires than anyone. We've seen observation.
The thing is with the observation, it isn't meant to be so oppressive. It's a secondary gadget. You know, it's got to fit into that secondary gadget mold of, is it, is it useful? Does it provide a little bit of information that's fairly limited? Point.
That's a classic. That always works. Repel up Astro and just spray for it. There's always someone. That always works.
You got to make your own look in this game. If you don't fire the shot, you're never going to know.
You got to make the play, because if you don't make the play,
play will make you. There we go. We're getting into the swing of things now. Unfortunate timing for Cons, really. You can't do too much to battle back and affect onto that. You just really look at the draw.
This setup we've seen a few times as well. Oh, Muzi finds a shocking kill into Gomez. Downstairs he was lurking around, but this setup with the 2 castle barricades and then having the reinforced walls, I don't see the need of the castle barricades if you've got the mirror. I don't really think the castle brings all too much.
Hang on a minute, you were calling for the mirror earlier.
I was, but you don't need the castle. On top of the castle, the mirror's pretty decent. It is good, but because they brought the castle, you're just wasting, more utility where you could have brought like a bandit, for example, to start bandit tricking that mirror window. That's one thing that works really well on that mirror, especially. It's just the old bandit. It's great. Because then you have the C4 to C4 someone as he jump in walk-in closet.
Muzi got himself into a pretty sticky spot as Diaz could find one on the hop-in and Spoit. Well, it could have been any number of the M80 players there. The Tracers were coming in thick and fast for that final player rotating into the closet. Psycho. We'll just roll back a little bit to where he's on the concrete shield. He's playing Warden. A couple of stuns come in. He runs away. You didn't activate the glasses. You're on the Warden.
You sound like me. Hang on a minute. That's my job.
It hurt me a little bit. Honestly, it hurt me because he activates the glasses.
Well, anyway, NIP can still pull it back. They can still do this. I'll be Mr. Positive. You be me.
It just hurt me a little bit. That was off the back of Intel as well. That
what happened down here? What's Muzi doing down there as a mute?
I would say that Gomez is probably asking the same question.
Yeah.
Oh, Diaz, hello?
See you on the other side.
Look at this. This is
just wonderful. We're getting all the little bits we usually miss.
It's like a statue.
Yeah, Muzi was a little bit lost there. We didn't miss that one. There's another clip.
There you go, Salty. There you go.
So many good stills of Spoit's face.
Yeah, Salty will be loving that one. That'll be used.
Very expressive.
That'll be up on Twitter within, give him, what, 2 minutes?
5 seconds.
3 minutes.
Attackers
It's been a long day. It's 25 to 10
that'll be
time.
instant. What do you say? M80 going with a different approach when the Capital comes in to the fray of things. This is, of course, the kitchen bomb site. I wonder what idea they've got, because I'm trying to think. Capital ain't that good on really any of these bomb sites, in my opinion. I don't really know where he fits in, like, oh, that's really strong if you can do that. So I am curious to see what they've got planned.
I'm sure we're going to find out that Iconic really doesn't care for your opinion in a minute when he comes out with some beautiful capital play.
He hasn't really done much in this series. I mean, he didn't really have to do much in Border. It's quite a quiet game
Got
from
a couple
him.
of plans down, didn't he? I think he was part of the final round as well, which is a big clutch up, obviously.
If Iconic's plan, what does that say?
It says that Kino and Diaz are getting the kills, which they've been doing so far quite well, to be honest.
I mean, we kind of thought Iconic coming into this roster would kind of be like the backup support for Spoit, but he's actually developed more into a flex role, hasn't he? It's been mostly Gomez who's fit it into kind of behind Spoit for the most part.
Con's gathering a good bit of info here, but doesn't know that there is a player on the upside down rappel. Iconic, he's going to fire him off for the time being. Allows Spoit to now move through, can start to work with
I like that.
Potential of a player behind the bulletproof shield, but look at the drone working at his feet.
Once again, M80 enabling Spoit. They're bringing Capitao Hours to support him. What team does that? Capitao Hours to support your entries.
Just goes to show how much value the place into Spoit. Muzi could be about to play spoiler here. Gets the trigger shot onto Gomez. Great little one tap through the wall, but eventually will be shut down on the reverse of it. Cons, he drops himself off. Playing on the Solace, he can gather a lot of information. He can still affect for his teammates below and call out those all-important positions and locations. For the time being, M80, they've got this top floor control and they're going to keep hold.
I think Spoit's probably eyeing up a proposition of just dropping the hatch and straight into site, straight into China. That could be an option for him, so he will drone out himself. He will see what he can do. Spot's one inside a living room, but if he sees that no one's tucked in towards that kitchen corner, Ollie, he might just go for this. He'll probably ask Gomez to sit in the cam and walk into sight.
Especially with Kino's position now, he could do a lot to try and back him up as well.
Con's just ripped down the barricade.
Spoit
Beside him.
maybe just waiting for his time to strike here. He's still got a little bit of that he
Yellow
can do
paint.
vertically. A breaching charge, going to give him another line of sight to work with. Just take a good couple of points of damage. It's going to be Pino that finds one onto Tino. The diffuser is attempted to be recovered, but no, another down in the process. Diaz, now what do? You've got to try and pick up the diffuser pick by Iconic. He's no longer for this world as Pino sees to it that he is fallen. Diaz now, you've got a lot of work to do through that laundry wall. NIP, they really choked M80 out there.
M80 just kind of bunched up towards Laundry, didn't they? A little bit slow. I think that's what hit them, the realization that, hang on a minute, we've actually taken too long here to get things going. Spoit, obviously we've seen the idea he was going for, but then he a tricky Solace that he just couldn't snag, couldn't get him. And then you lose Spoit, you lose that pressure of take control of kitchen, then everyone else floods in towards Laundry. You know, that knock-on effect again, it happened for M80. Great shot from Kino. He's hit some good shots there, hasn't he?
He really has. I think it was NIP's focus here onto Iconic and Diaz trying to push through that was real good pulling factor. It's part of the problem with the Capitao, honestly. You do enable that lack of vision. But sometimes if it goes too close, there's only one place you're going to be, and that's in the smoke. Just pre-fire the smoke, and usually you're going to see a little bit of success. You need to be putting off those lines of sight a little bit further away.
Oh, M80. This is what I like to see. This is it. This is how you play Siege, Ollie. Are you ready? Ying and Glaz!
5 seconds to
But
go.
do you know what the issue is with bringing this? You've decided to ban the Dokkaebi
Attackers must
and the
locate
Kite.
and defuse a bomb.
So that means Warden's up.
Gomez is going to think twice about the glass and instead going to go on to the Flores. Wizard. He's obviously feeling himself. Maybe lands one bullet onto Diaz.
One bullet, that's it, yeah.
Especially at that range with the suppressor. Kino does still have the Ying though.
Yeah.
And, you know, whilst there is a Warden up, that's only one pair of glasses. Do you know how many eyes there are on the defenders? 10. And only 2 of them are being assisted by the glasses.
Lucky there isn't like a Capitao on the other team. You
Imagine,
had to
yeah.
count 9 for that, wouldn't you? Missing the old eye.
I mean, to be fair, we can't see under Jaeger or Mutes.
Actually,
so-
there's a fair few operators that are actually missing parts of bodies, aren't there? They actually are.
Yeah.
Missing arms and fingers and all
Bionic
sorts.
arms, we've got, yeah. Oh, please tell me we've drawn the frost map. That would be a horrible way to go. Of course he has.
We have.
Straight into the bathroom. Muzi.
A little bit more aggressive from NIP compared to what they were doing on Border. Oh, Spoit and Kino both picking up the 2 opening picks, Ollie. What's happened there? NIP, talk about how aggressive they can be, but it didn't work. But there's Goggle Boy, here he is, being able to just counter those Candelas. Cons goes down as well, and 8 finishes him off, and NIP I mean, M80 haven't really done much, Ollie, but they're 5-2 up.
Feels like they've just walked into master side, you know.
Feels like that's the
Psycho's had the
site.
good fortune there to be in the right place when the Candela went off, but realistically, without taking a single kill back as a trade, this really could be a flawless. You might have the goggles, Psycho, but it's just not going to be enough, I'm afraid. Picks himself a one onto Kino, immediately swings round knowing he's about to get pinched. But it isn't enough.
Weird round, that. Not a lot really happened at M80 side. Nothing they did, you know, broke the internet.
Especially when we think back to the way that round played out in round number 1. We had the observation blockers. There was a big traffic jam at the top of red stairs.
Yeah.
Psycho got a couple of kills as trades, and he swung off the back of Intel really well.
It was
There was none of that.
It was almost as if, you know, last time they allowed M80 to have control of, you know, this side of the map, bedroom, all that, and then they put a lot of their focus in, right, we'll do the choke point in red stairs.
Yeah.
This time they thought, all right, let's do the choke point in bedroom.
Yeah.
Very much more difficult to do because you don't have then the support of the players in sight.
can't
You're close
control
to the
it.
site. You know, we've seen players like Cypher being able to swing out, safety, you know, all that stuff. That was the issue. They played a little bit too much. They spread themselves too thin. Because if you spread yourself too thin, like, you won't be able to taste the butter. You won't. It's a waste. What's the point?
I thought you were going to throw out the Bilbo
10
quote.
seconds remaining.
What's that?
I feel old, Gandalf.
5 seconds left.
Like butter.
No, that's in Chambers, I think.
What's
Is that not in
this
Chambers he said that? No?
Must locate.
I thought it was in Chambers who said I feel old. No?
You'll have him tracking us down. He'll be coming into the casting room. to try and
He's
find
far
us.
away from us. He has to walk through heat. He doesn't do well in heat.
It's a long way, actually. Long way down the boulevard
is, yeah.
still to the main stage. Let's see what round number 5 has in store. We've gone back and forth.
All over the place.
There hasn't really been... I mean, that last round was very convincing. That last round was a little bit scary for an 8.
There hasn't been much of a flow, has it? It's been a bit of a weird one, back and forth, you know, disjointed sometimes, some weird rounds, some close rounds. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it.
But we're waiting for one team to really take the initiative and take that lead. At the moment, it's nice because neither one is really getting one over on the other. There's been some fairly convincing rounds, but they've been convincing for either side.
Yeah, I think whoever loses this, they'll probably say we just couldn't get into a rhythm, isn't that? That's the kind of vibe you feel whoever does, you know, end up losing this map. M80, almost going for an NIP-like approach, Ollie, probing, seeing what they can find out, opening everything. They haven't really done much, but it's all about setting up the positions. We know how crucial that can be for going for the executes. They've opened up quite a few castle barricades there, Ollie, haven't they? They were over towards Wolf Window. There they are in Astro, now shifting over towards Bedroom. Just eyeing up their options. It's the mirror windows that they need to get through. They have the EMP grenades. Will open up. Again, this is where a Bandit, again, would have been great, Ollie, to stop that from happening. Sadly, NIP have valued, again, that castle, for example.
Psycho gets a good little shot there on Kino. It isn't enough to deliver the finishing blow, but with it also holding one of those skinny angles on the doorways. Not sure if he's aware that Spoit has just made himself into
on the window.
bathroom.
Iconic.
Horrible position for Wizard to be in now. He's got a player on the window, a player inside a bathroom, and he knows about both of them. Spoit going to get the better of him there as he does take the initiative and hits the peak. Going to disable the laser gate for the time being. M80, the two-man advantage here before strikes back. He's making that DMR sing at range. The wall getting opened right next to him means that his moments surely are numbered. And Spoit is going to see to it that he too will fall. Both remaining players from NIP are out of the site, but that isn't going to stop him. Pino gets a great shot over onto Diaz. Now's left with Muzi to try and retake this site.
M80. I mean, Spoit is up, and Spoit's already killed a fair few players in this so far. I think all 3, isn't it? 2 more. Get the ace potentially for him. Iconic will move in, and he's going to try and go for the plant. Great shot from Iconic, Ollie. Look at the reactions on him. But can he get the diffuser down? More importantly, can Spoit actually get the cover on it? Pino has no denial. He's only got the UMP. Iconic just waiting for the right moment, shifts himself in deep, so now Pino will have to look away to try and kill the diffuser. And if he looks away to try and kill the diffuser, then he's not looking at Spoit, who he needs to worry about. Does swing him, but Iconic is there. Oh, that was a great little clutch from those two. That's why they picked him up, Ollie. Who would have thought?
Great little bait there from Spoit. I think you might look at that and go, oh, Spoit should have done more to hold that. He just needed to waste the time.
As long as you
buying the
guarantee the
time
kill.
for Iconic. Even if Iconic gets the plant down and dies instantly, Spoit's there.
He's there.
And he hasn't exposed himself too much to any sort of vulnerability. Great round there from M80. Real bold play from Iconic as well to push through quite deep there with the diffuser. He wasn't exactly with Spoit when he was pushing in through Statuary. Could have gone either way. It was a good attempt from NIP at the retake as well. This is the more dangerous play there. I think Ruzi's maybe got a little bit unlucky on the timing. Tucked right in behind the wardrobe.
Yeah.
NIP, they don't look too disheartened just yet. Still early days.
Yeah. That was a good round to get. Takes him into the lead now, Ollie, more importantly, for M80. Final attack.
Will they hold the lead at the half?
Will they hold the lead at the half? And they've got the Ying again, which did work out. Well, I wouldn't say it worked out well. It didn't. Did it really work out well? I mean,
didn't work out badly, and this time there's no water.
Yeah. So you would hope so.
You would hope it would work out either equally or better.
Yeah. Only thing is you got Fenrir against. You know, sure Ying is good at being able to move in. Nobody can see her, but she's Fenrir. She can't see anyone actually follow up on that. That's the thing with Fenrir. He's very good against the fast operator. So you're looking at your Ying, you're looking at your Glaz as well. Your Blitz, massive counter to Blitz. Massive counter, because Blitz, as a Blitz, you always need to make sure that you are facing the right way to who you're against.
It sounds like basics. Tell me something I don't know about Blitz.
What do you not know about Blitz? Is that there's a spot in Chalet where you can actually Ash blow and you can insta-jump through a window with Blitz.
Wow.
It's a very good rush. Did you know that?
Didn't know that.
There you go, you know that.
Pino, just going to reposition himself for the time being. M80 again going for this kind of slow and steady approach. They're really not committing too hard to anything. They've got Spoit in below. Looks like there's a good bit of information here for him, and there's a yellow ping onto Psycho's position. Spoit, all you got to do now is land the shots. You know he's behind the desk. You get caught inside of the gunfight, but Psycho, he finds the opening pick. Drone or not, it isn't going to matter.
Massive kill. Massive kill for Psycho. Takes down Spoit. So now M80 will need to try and find their own way into the building without using Spoit to almost blaze a trail for them. Kino and Gomez both stacking up, only walking through the corridors. Are they maybe just going to look just to walk in to Memo? They could. Nobody's really in a good position to stop that from happening as well. What are they thinking now? They're going downstairs. Maybe to bring them a case of wine, perhaps? Who knows?
It doesn't really fit the play style of the operators that they've got. They've got like chalk and cheese right there. We've got a Nook who's expected to be the backstab, and then you've got Kino who's expected to kick the front door down. And yet he's creeping and crawling through the basement at the moment. He's still got a kill. Gomez has been taken out in the meantime. Diaz now going to hit the nade and throw on into sight. Just get caught in the Fenrir. This is the value of that Fenrir gadget. It's just going to slow him down and stop any initial push that he's going for. Fenrir now can move into position, knows it went off, knows there's someone likely going to be there, and it's not quite a freebie, but it's as close as you will get. Now we're starting to see the Candelas come through from Kino, but no one's really there to back them up. He feels like he wants a bit more surety. He wants one maybe to go in a little bit deeper here. Iconic, going to try and work with him in through laundry. It didn't work too well last time. The Fenrir gadget's right there. But Kino doesn't want to reposition to try and take it out. He's waiting for Iconic to get into spot now. Got a good bit of information here as Kino is successful onto the first. Iconic onto the second. But Wizard and Pino line him up and knock him down. Nobody is ahead at the half because it's an equal 3-3.
It is, and the power of Fenrir. So, I mean, Ollie, he's so good against the fast operators. You can't go for the quick plays. We've seen the Candela go in, but he couldn't go for it because he can't see anything. That's just the way it is. A very, very strong operator, very potent, very flexible. The fact that you get 5 and then you can just activate them at a distance, because generally, I would find it very difficult to see a team try and, manage to push in 5 different doorways at the same time. Again, there's going to be, max 3 doors maybe that you're going to have at one time. As soon as you know what push a team's going for, just activate the ones that are going to be valuable to you.
Fresh said something really telling the other day. Fenrir makes average players good. And I play quite a lot of Fenrir. What does that tell you?
You're a great player.
I'm actually a great player because I play Fenrir, because I use my brain. I know that I don't need to outskill my opponent. I just need to cheese it a little bit.
Just out-cheese it. Yeah. Play a bit of Blitz.
I've tried that. It's not for me.
Mate, he is the most broken operator in a 1v1. I'm telling you now.
But I don't get to the 1v1.
Blitz plus Dokumi Call equals Heat Seeker.
I don't get the 1 versus 1.
You should have a go. No, like not like a 1 versus 1, not get to it, but just in 1v1 engagements.
Oh, right,
That's
okay,
what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
It's just, you know, I've received just, there's a lot more messages being sent to me now since I started playing Blitz. I've seen the correlation all of a sudden.
Equal half. Very different to the way that Border played out. And I think he's good. I did not want to see NIP go out like that.
We expected it more because this is a more comfort map for NIP.
Better map for NIP.
This is where they'll ease into it. And again, I think the play style of Villa, where, you know, we've seen M80 trying to attempt the fast play style. It can go wrong very, very quickly. Because you almost, it's very linear, Villa, where you have to kind of push from one side, isn't it? You don't really have the same flexibility as what you had with Border, where you look at M80, they were pushing, you know, that's where they were pushing 5 different doorways at a time. This will suit NIP more. They can play the slow play style. They can really adjust the speed to them, but not too slow. We don't want to see them fall back into that trap where NIP, you know, that 6-man is actually the biggest enemy to them. You know, if we do a little head-to-head between NIP and Time, a landslide for Time.
Time's the winner there.
Never seen a record before.
Time will always be the winner. Seeing Gomez just reposition a few of those Fenrir gadgets, this is a much slower approach than we've been used to seeing so far. So it makes sense to get that utility in the right position, and as you've said already, Demo, the flexibility on Fenrir as an operator is fantastic. You can throw those gadgets out, you can pick them up, you can activate them, you can deactivate them all at range. You don't want to lose those activated charges if one gets destroyed.
Very tame approach from M80. They're not really sitting outside the site. They're very relaxed in the site. Only the one roamer in the form of Iconic, I believe. Everyone else just sat around just waiting for things to happen. NIP have wasted 3 nades only, trying to nade these almost like exterior positions towards 90 and things like that. No one's home. You know, they've read into that very well. They're not going to give NIP the luxury of having almost like their safety nades where they know, oh, if we nade this, we always get a kill. They've played against that. That's all 4 nades, not a single kill.
And we've still not gotten rid of the shield on the top of maps table, even though we've got nades and self.
Well, you can't nade it from below because it's actually a solid. It's on the map.
No, but they tried.
Yeah, they tried. Yeah.
That was the problem. Psycho, oh, gets a glimpse there. Iconic. He's going to just back away for the meantime. He's doing a great job at wasting time here. It doesn't really matter what happens to Iconic. If he makes his way back up the stairs, great. If not,
this here
doesn't really matter. Look at Spoit's position as well. Here inside a study. Draws from the sidearm, knows that he's getting pressured on the window, eventually will be taken out. NIP, they do have the advantage. We speak all the time about how this team comes alive in the final 15. They're going to have to do that exactly now. Yes. Takes the engagement there from behind the player on the bar. Can he start to try and get this diffuser down? Yes, Iconic. He's on the solace. He knows he's below. He has 1 impact to his name and a chance, but he's too late. The hesitation caused him just to miss out by a fraction. Now made his way up these main stairs. He's got a long line to challenge onto the bottom of 90. He can get quick eyes onto the diffuser and immediately hops onto it. This is going to force a reaction here from NIP. They need to play this smart. They need to play this safe. Wizard, he's going to find that final kill. Close stuff.
Oh, Iconic.
At the point where Iconic screeched to a halt, did a 180 turn and starts running to where the plant was going down, I thought, we're going to see it.
No.
We're going to see the solace from below.
He was too late.
Fractions of a second too late.
I just think if it's a 50-50. It's either he goes up and he maybe catches them planting on the map table, which would have been the correct play, but obviously he was planting in the place where he could have impacted below. It's one of them. It's one of them. It's unlucky for Iconic. The real engagement that really, you know, hinged on was this one right here on Pino. Pino had the lockdown study, and he got 2 kills from all. It was incredible. Diaz tried his best to fight his way back in, and he probably thought, I think I've done enough for him, but nope, not enough. Good from NIP. Again, Pino saved that round. 100% on Pino.
I love how Pino's watching his teammates scream there, just like biting his nails, like, I want to get this done.
10 seconds to go.
Oh, close one. NIP back in the lead. First attack goes their way. M80 not messing around, going straight for a different bomb site. Weren't too happy with how things went the last time. Now they go in towards Kitchen. Pulse. Haven't seen Pulse today, have we? Have we seen Pulse today?
We saw a little bit of Pulse, I think.
I think we seen. I think from it was the Oxygen BDS game, because if Fox is there, Pulse is being played. That's a signature of his. But we haven't seen it on our games today, Ollie. So a bit of pulse on Villa. It's great for Kitchen. It's really good because you can tell immediately if teams are going to go above. If you see 4 bodies stacked up outside bedroom balcony, you know it's going to be a vertical take. And then you can start calling teams over for the C4s and trying to eliminate the attackers as they move in. If you don't see anyone there, then you know it's going to be much more of a sideways approach, coming in towards living room, for example. And even seeing if anyone's on pantry stairs, which is very strong. How many times do we see like a nuke come downstairs in through like the lower garage, up the pantry stairs and trying to get in a position where they get a freebie in kitchen? Having the pulse there will let you know straight away, look, Kino's checking it. Just that's where pulse is really helpful because there is a really strong position that he can just find this information.
Relatively safe, right? You know that people are going to be upstairs.
There's no windows in that bomb site, so you're not going to get shot from a window.
You can find those dark spots where you can just sit and gather that information. Especially when Pino himself was one of the players that was crouch walking through the basement. You know, it's on your mind as something that you need to keep a lookout on. The basement in Villa is still one of the most underutilized areas of the map, even though our basket.
I think it's
getting a
rising.
little bit more prominent.
I mean,
but
I think for what it is, it's quite good.
Yeah.
C4 misses. Tried to go for the up and over. Moving in towards that walk-in, but nobody's there. Cons will then find said pulse, and 2 players gone already. M80, not a good start for them. They've lost the information from the pulse. They've lost the information from the Solace. NIP now, this is where they're in their element only. They have that opening pick. They will just tear this bomb site limb from limb. They will. They'll be like a pack of sharks, just waiting.
Gomez could be about to play spoiler, though. I don't think anyone is watching the flank, and Wizard at least will suffer for it. It's taken out there on the trade by Pino. Still, it's one body he didn't need to lose, but the advantage still remains. Diaz just trying to shotgun himself a little passage back to the site, see if he can try and assist Iconic a little bit, because, to be honest, Iconic isn't in the greatest spot right now. He's tucked into the pantry. Diaz just going to be watching the 90 downstairs. Clock is ticking, so for all that vertical control is going to gain you good lines of sight, if no one's there, you can't really do too much with it. You're going to have to get into the site, you're going to have to get the diffuser down or find all those kills. Cons is doing just exactly that right now. Iconic playing this patient game as the plant does start to go down. A little bit of information is exchanged, but Pino is there with the cover. Diaz, the plant's now been confirmed. You've got to try and retake this. Sees one player cross, holds his nerve for a time, but doesn't really want to jiggle too hard onto China. He knows there's very likely going to be a player there, and it feels as though the game is up. Maybe playing for clips now as he's trying to get himself a fancy one-tap. Cons is actually going to fly around the corner with the knife. I wasn't expecting that.
Try your chance. You never know. Might get lucky. But NIP, again, it's just, that's clinical, isn't it? That's what we expect to see. This map just suits them down a lot more than what, obviously, Border did. They can just get stuck in, control the game at their own pace. There's not too many angles that they need to worry about. They can go very direct if they need to. M80 just struggling to get the flow. It feels as though like they're kind of losing now. And then, Spoit and Kino, they're trying really hard to get a kill back, but it's backfiring. It's one of those where they're trying almost too hard. Even you have to admit, like, Gomez, for example, going for that play. Why not bring someone with you? For example, would that not, if you're going to retake, don't do it by yourself. It's all good getting a kill back, but go maybe with someone else. Maybe get 2 kills back.
Full commit to it.
Yeah.
Not seeing that level of commitment just yet. There is time, though. 5-3. NIP. Really, and with the chance of taking this to 3 maps, which I think if you were to ask anyone on Border, is that going to happen? It would have looked very, very unlikely then on. However, since getting onto Villa, the map favours them a little bit more. Things have started to go their way.
What do you think of the trophy this year? Like it?
Yeah, I like it. Was good.
I think Bolo liked it.
It fits the sort of AR theme of the stage,
yeah,
right?
very, very techno, aren't we?
Yeah.
Do you think Bolo liked it? Do you think he maybe would have liked to have lifted that?
I think
instead of placed
it down with him. Yeah.
I was speaking to him earlier about it and saying, does he miss? And he thinks, well, there's always that part of it.
Yeah, I bet.
But Bolo fans, he's said that he's happy where he is. So he's not coming back, guys. Let it go.
I can't believe you've dropped that spoiler.
Let it go. It's not coming back. Give it up. Give it up. You seen him win it all. He's done. He's done and dusted.
Not the one-on-one, though.
No, he's not the one-on-one. One-on-one. I don't know if the one-on-one has arrived, guys. Do we know that? Did anyone know that King George is arriving as well? He'll be here.
Demo loves spouting the fact that King George is one of the very few
Love
players
King
that's
George.
played one invite and won one invite.
Can you tell me what invite that was, Ollie?
Was it the first one?
It was.
Yeah.
It was the first one.
Cons getting a good bit of value here out of the Bravo drone. He's almost spoiled for choice. Look at him go. Is he going to get the
Bomb
fourth?
has been located.
I think there was another Fenrir knocking about, but I'm not sure if it was activated or not. Lion Scan comes in to root these defenders in place. They do have a bit of an offside hold. Spoit tries his hand there at a peek onto Wizard. Demo, we're talking about trying too hard to make things happen. That's an occasion of it. That's a good example.
Yeah, he start getting in his own head, doesn't he? That's the issue with Spoit is...
I think any player can.
Yeah, he has, you know, a lot of pressure on him, you know, and... Yeah, I mean, he kind of has to earn his price tag, doesn't he, as well? You know, that's one thing. That's one thing we have to talk about as well. You know, Spoit coming over to NA, it's a massive move for him. We know that anyone who moves region, there's just that immediate pressure to do well. It happened to Alama whenever he came over to EU. Obviously, Citizen felt that as well, didn't he, with the Sonics move? Just the way things are. You need to perform if you're moving regions. That really makes a statement. Then you really are good. You have to show it.
Another kill to go unanswered here as Kino going to be the next player to fall. And me ripping things up with the nades from below. It isn't the nades, it's the guns that are doing the damage. Cons back on his thing with the Bravo drone. Now he's hacked all the gadgets in the world. He can just use it for a little bit of info. That info is going to be very kindly received. Droning himself a kill there. Gomez got a minute and 5 kills to find. You can see the Fenrir gadgets lit up red, but it isn't going to matter. Flawless round for NIP there. They are really ramping up the heat.
The NIP can turn it on in a second. This is where, in a LAN environment, if they just have just 1 or 2 rounds only, that's snowball effect, isn't it? It's scary how good they can be.
Devastating.
M80 just look flat.
Well, this is where we start to think and talk about the fact that M80 played a best of 3 that lasted over 4 hours, and fatigue starts to come into this.
I get that, but they've probably played it in worse. You know, playing best of 5s. They went a full 5 map series against Dark Zero, for example, to get into this tournament. It's part of the job description. You have to get used to it.
It's true.
You know,
it's playing under a very different environmental factor, though. You're either at home or in a boot camp. You're in a much more familiar environment. You're not swapping between, you know, a B stream stage and an A stream stage. You haven't got all of the lights, the glitz, and the glam. There's a lot more pressure on you when you're in the moment, in the venue, in the location. And you've got to think to yourself, is that what's slowing M80 down a little bit now? Are they really starting to feel the effects of a long, drawn-out series versus G2? Some quick success on border and thinking, oh, we could maybe get this done here, get this done in 2.
Well, they have to understand that their playstyle suits the faster maps a lot more. Look at the border. Villa, and I would say probably Bank are the kind of 2, maybe Club, but then I think Club's like kind of like on its own. Club and Fame are probably on their own. Then you have like Villa and Bank, where they're the big maps. You can't really do the flashy plays as well as what you'd want to. You almost do have to kind of take it slow, eye up your options, good utility usage. Whereas maps like, you know, your border and your cafe and your chalets, where you can play fast, you can play aggressive, that's where M80 will excel. Of course, we have Chalet after this, Ollie. Keep that in mind, which is that not the map that NIP beat them on at the Major, if I'm not mistaken, was Chalet? So a bit of revenge, perhaps, could happen for M80, or the same old for NIP. That is, of course, if we get to it, which is looking increasingly favorable as time marches on.
Oh, it's looking more and more like we're going to see that Chalet. We saw an IP on Chalet earlier today as well. They gave us a very good display over on that map. We'll be certainly thinking about it in the coming rounds. If not for the end of this one. Match point currently for NIP. They have a chance to take us there right here and now. They've been devastating on their attack so far. They haven't skipped a beat after trading rounds back and forth on their own defense. Since getting onto the attack, they have been flawless. Much slower start to the round. M80, they're not vying for as much control as they have been doing in the early stages. approaching the minute mark, and we've still got everybody alive, Demo. That's not the usual sight to be seen here on Villa.
Look at that. Just so many angles being opened up, Ollie. Oh, look at this from Psycho. He's just tiptoed into living room, but Kino, he's the doorman, he's the bouncer. He said, you're not getting in tonight, fellas. Not with them shoes on. Kino has the shotgun. He gets shut down by Pino. He's in the sight, but Ollie, look, the upstairs angles are there. NIP, they've tried to pull a fast one, Ollie, but it hasn't worked.
Not sure if it's a little bit lazy from NIP, if they didn't want to go for that top floor clear for whatever reason, but looking back on it, I bet I wish they had have done it. The diffuser is now cold on the site, and Gomez knows that. Muzi is now making his way upstairs to see if he can try and make something happen with the players inside of that vault. Got quite a bit to wade through, though. Ephemery Gadget will activate the goo mine as well. It's a bad day when you get caught in Ephemery. It's worse when you get then caught into a goo mine. Iconic. He's going to see him proned on the floor there. Doing his best snake impression, trying to sneak around that map's table. Wizard. He's going to die to the same angle everyone else has? Well, yeah, pretty much. Gomez from above, inside of the vault. You've got to clear the vault, Demo. It's step one.
It was Kino, I'll be honest, who kind of ruined the party there for them. Sitting in sight, holding the angle out of suspicion, and it was the correct one. Detective Kino on the case. Another crime solved. What do you think about his hair color change? Can't even mention that yet. See what he's done with it?
It's pretty bold, isn't it?
It is. He's went for the blonde.
He's almost gone for the Doki.
Yeah, a little bit more curly.
Yeah.
I mean, Doki's almost going white now as well. The way his hair's going.
Is it white or is it grey?
You've played with Alamo for long enough. I'm sure we'd all turn grey, wouldn't we?
Looking for intel.
Yeah, it looked like it. I don't want to use the word lazy, but it just felt like NIP didn't do what they needed to do there. The default take for that is you need to take that top floor. You can't continually challenge that vertical angle. It's a horrible angle to try and contest. And then when you've still got players occupying in the site, it just gets a little bit too much. Still, they are on match point. We could certainly let one round slip here. Going to be attacking into the kitchen this time. But that could be the all-important success that M80 needed to taste to keep them in this one. It's not over yet.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Not over yet. 2 rounds, that's all they need. They went to this kitchen, Ollie, and they got absolutely derailed with the style of play they went for. A little bit too aggressive for M80, and they tried to get kills back, but they weren't doing it together. And then the numbers game just went against them in NIP. Whenever they have the numbers favorable to them, they will just devastate you. M80, they looked as if they've dragged more players maybe towards the top floor, have tried to lock it down a lot more heavy. Sport maybe going for the run out, using Gomez almost as live bait, and he will go for the jump out. Sport finds Wizard! That's all he finds, because that was the only one out there. Iconic picked up Cons, and that's more like it from M80. Great play, has to be said, from him and Gomez. Being able to say, right, Gomez, as soon as you start getting shot, I will jump out and kill this guy.
You can see it coming a mile off as well. Sport's pressing the window. He's got the solace. He knows he can find someone out on the drone if they're on the drone. He can easily jump out and pick that kill up. No Claymore, because you can see that as well. You know, that's exactly how Solace is intended to be used. That little bit of aggression, little bit of get yourself out, get yourself straight back in, and it's done the business. A couple of opening picks here is exactly what M80 needed. We talk about NIP being on a match point, but M80, if they secure this round, which realistically 5 versus 3 they should,
against NIP as
they're
well.
only 1 round away.
NIP trying to go back from behind. It doesn't really happen, Ollie. It doesn't exist. Say that though. They've pulled 1 kill back, but still 4 more bodies to find. 2 of them actually playing towards 90, another one in towards Vault, and another one inside of map. Ollie, 3 of them, a trifecta towards the side of the map that has nothing to do. 3 of them in 90, Ollie, what are they doing? They're escaping down the hatch. 1 by 1 they go, the great escape. Play the music.
Well, they're going to scurry their way back, and Muzi almost misses out on his opportunity there, but he didn't want to overextend. He doesn't have the fortune of cover, and instead just has to dip himself back, get down those red stairs, and see if he can try and find anything. To me, it looks at this point as though NIP are pretty starved of information. They have got a couple of drones knocking about. Whether they're set up as flank cams or they're in pocket ready to be used is another story entirely. Who's he going to wait for the flash and then push himself in, but he only gets flashed himself. Pino does have the kit in hand and can maybe look to start trying to get this down. CYCLOPS just going to give him a little bit of smoke cover. Worried about that pressure from above. The C4 comes through and will be successful onto both of them. They were holding hands there. It only takes one to plant the diffuser. Muzi, he's got himself back upstairs, can find one. 19 seconds left to go. He needs to find the rest. Puts good damage in onto Spoit. But knows there's likely going to be another backing him up. Spoit just got to try and keep himself alive here. Bait out for his teammate. And Iconic seals the deal.
Much better from M80. You look at the difference between that kitchen defense and the previous one. The difference is an opening kill. Against a team like NIP, you need to hit them with a rolling thunder from the get-go. You need to disrupt them, you need to kill key operators, you need to throw them off the stride. If you give NIP the time to set up, you give them a chance, they will floor you. That is how it works.
Well, a game that was looking fairly decisive for NIP.
NIP and the attack just started sweeping.
A couple of rounds ago. Yeah. It's now looking a lot less so.
Oh, he doesn't look too happy with that one.
Diaz, you won the round.
What's wrong?
Is he still on the Brazilian side? Double agent?
Do you know what percentage of Brazilians are here at this event? The players?
Hit me with it.
35.
35%. Very good representation.
Indeed, as always. That's what you expect. Whenever we've got, you know, Brazilians in EU now, Brazilians in NA.
Yeah. It just reminds me of the meme every time. You know, the guy in the spacesuit?
Oh, it was always Brazil.
It was always Brazil. Yeah. Just reminds me of that. A chance here for M80 to close it out in 2. I didn't think we'd be saying that when we're sat at 6-3 up for NIP.
And NIP, the rounds they won, it was so clean.
NIP looked fantastic in those opening 3 attacking rounds. And now we've almost gone straight back to we're just going to trade a few rounds back and forward. Probably go to an overtime. Probably NIP win it, and then we'll be ended up on a 3rd map anyway.
Our old friend, the Panic Monty, has made the appearance.
Well, the Monty was banned last map, wasn't it? Yeah. That just goes to show how much NIP like to use this operator. It can be very effective in the right hands. Think of Pino at the top of the day, on Cafe, played a lot of Shield, played a bit of Monty, played a bit of Clash. Did fantastically on both of those operators. It's going to be cons this time on the Monty, but it doesn't really matter who it is. It's more the effect that can have.
Yeah, I think they can all play it, can't they? But at the moment, Pino, you don't take him off. He's got 12 kills. Kill leader by, quite a substantial amount. 4, look at this from Spoy. What's he doing? He's running all the way around the car. He thought he was going to try and go for the kill on the player on the phone. Oh my goodness, Spoy was just a big, nope, I'm not going there. I'm going the other way. He gets himself back into the site. He scares me, so he does.
Just a little bit too far that time.
To be fair, he probably could have won that because that was a Monty.
Yeah.
A guy really without a gun.
Huge.
You know, so...
It would have been huge.
Obviously, he doesn't know who he's looking at.
Target detected.
Wonder if they're maybe going to try and use the Soulless Valkyrie combo, yeah, to prep the C4s and then see if they can maybe get a kill with it. Iconic is ready below. So that's going to be positioned just on the bathroom door as you head yourself in towards Solar. They have spotted out the Soulless below. Cons is going to push up now, and he actually goes by the C4. Iconic just sitting below, and he's going to send the shield just to make sure they can deter that Soulless away. And as you can see, Spoit, he's got either, although he's not sticking around for long.
It's a cagey round from both sides, isn't it? I think NIP know just what the weight is that is on this round. It avoids going into an overtime. It cleans the game up somewhat, and they can just start to focus on that next map. And for M80, it's everything. It's getting it done in 2. It's getting that, slightly earlier finish. Diaz, looks like he's going for a bit of a lineup there. He keeps looking down at the pool table, getting the C4 out, maybe just trying to figure out which way that C4 wants to go. But Cons is able to gather this information and can start to bully Spoit back a little bit. Gathers a good bit of info there as well. You now know that there's a Fenrir on the door. You can assume that anyway, but now it's guaranteed, so you're more likely to spend a nade on it or something of that nature, and he gets a bit more info. The roam clear has been fairly successful. Yeah, you've not got a kill, but you've been able to flush a lot of these defenders back to site.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
The nade's below. He needs to try and find... Nope, doesn't find a kill. Maybe Psycho could go below and try and see if he can find a kill, because they need a number here. With the Monty, sure, it's fine having him, but that's one less gun that you're against. Cons just walk through the site. Doesn't have diffuser though, Wally. is going to be in the hands of Psycho, the player with said nades, and will now give it to Cons. What plant position is he thinking about going for? He can't really plant in the doorway because if they don't have Vault covered, he's going to get picked off, Ollie. There we go, they don't have Vault covered. Hello?
That seems really risky to play Monty in that sort of a position. And now look at where the diffuser is. 11 seconds left on the clock. Muzi finally going to come in through that 90, but he too will fall. It's going to be a flawless round for M80.
Don't tell me
There's questions to be asked there.
Did they think Vault was clear? Because Monty... Right, here's the two scenarios. One, we did see Nook nade Vault, and maybe they thought the Vault was clear because they naded it, which, how can you stop anyone repositioning the Vault to begin with, right? Or two, Monty's walked right through the bomb site, hasn't seen anyone in Vault, and thought, I didn't get shot at, or I didn't see anyone as I've walked through. Maybe no one is in Vault. Let's try it again. And he went for the Plunder's Gun Vault.
You would at least open Vault wall.
Just bring
something. Get a Hibana pellet on it, get an ace charge on it, something from that 90 window to give you that Vault control.
What I'm trying to think about is, where was the fifth player? We had one guy in study, one guy behind the Monty, obviously the Monty, one guy 90. Where was the fifth man? Who was the guy that wasn't doing anything? Because I counted 4 players there who were actually doing something. Where was the fifth? Where's he hiding?
You're like the manager that's come onto the shift. You're like, where's the fifth man?
We're missing someone here.
M80 have done a fantastic job to bring this one back into an overtime.
5 seconds.
Not only that demo, but they get the defense.
I mean, it's even halves.
It's even halves, but those last couple of rounds from NIP have been very bad.
I think they're a little bit shaky now.
Yeah. The realization's hitting. It's like, we've had the success. Oh no, we still can be beaten.
We've scuffed this.
Yeah, we've scuffed this a little bit, and now we need to try and pick it up.
Let's see if they can do it. Look at the site choice, just straight back into it. Straight back into it. They will go for the living room. Now, this worked out pretty well for them last time, mostly because NIP just tried to, you know, just creep their way in as if they were all playing Nook almost the way they tried to walk into the site, but it doesn't work like that. So I would say they'll take a different approach, and the main approach should be like you pointed towards the last time they went for this attack. They didn't go towards Vault. They didn't eliminate the players above using the verticality. That's a must for us, isn't it? You have to clear above.
You kind of look at what they're bringing and you think, have they got the tools to do that? You know, Monty would be really good here because you could start to clear out that Vault a little bit. You could have players in position to back you up a little bit more. You brought the Ossa. It's not the end of the world, it's just a little bit choice for this bomb site. You know, you think about the Ossa as usually setting up a bit of a power position, maybe looking to try and get a plant behind it, maybe looking to try and play behind it a little bit. That doesn't really speak to clearing out Vault too much for me.
Wonder what they're going to try and rely on to really give them that pushing power. Maybe the Lion would be it, but that's, you know, relying on a Lion charge to be your main way of getting kills. It's a bit tricky. Only the one set of nades as well. I mean, we talked about the Ossa, but look where Cons is going. Towards the kitchen side. If they're just going to try and just plant on the door, or should I say the wall, it's not really going to work if Gomez still has an impact nade to stop that from happening. Because all it takes is, okay, he's trying to plant behind the Ossa shield. Have you got your impact? Yes, I do. Tosses the impact, everyone else swings. That's as easy as it is. But he doesn't have his impact grenade now, Ollie. All they have is smokes to deny this. Oh dear!
The fact that Cons have been allowed into position to place that Ossa shield is a big, big problem. He got away with it a little bit there. He did dodge a couple of bullets that were being fired from above, and it now comes down to this vertical control, which NIP have got a great handle on. Their players lined up and ready to take these guys out as they start to make that rotation back. The Lion scan really assisting in that fact as well.
No smokes,
the Ossa shield is still up. The smokes have been spent. There isn't a goo mine available, and Cons, well, he's getting that plant down. A bit of a swing here from Kino. He's going to change target, finds one onto Wizard, but the plant is successful. Kino with a great rotation here, though. He needs to land his shot.
Oh,
leave it the shot. Kino! Look at him go. Picks up 3. What a rotation. Muzi and Psycho, now they need to get themselves into position. And don't forget, there's an Ossa shield assisting the disable here.
Kino,
he's found himself one.
Kino!
Muzi picks another. What a round from M80.
What a round for Kino! Not M80, what a round for Kino, you mean? Wow!
Bodega's loving it.
And you think about some of the awards that Bodega's had with NIP. Obviously used to coach MIBR, didn't he, back in the day? Wow. That's the play of the day. That's the save of the day.
Kino's done fantastically well here.
1, 2, 3, 4!
It took 4 shots for Cons to turn around. There's a huge shotgun going off just over you right here, and it takes 4 shots for him to turn around.
And give credit to Diaz. He done his job
Yeah,
just to delay it.
Yeah, he was in the hot
He
seat.
sacrificed himself for the greater good. Wow. Love it.
I was nearly a bit worried then when the plant went down and we were kind of critical of that Ossa shield. I was like, maybe it's the big brain play that needed.
I'll be honest,
It turned out not to be.
he shouldn't have won that.
No.
Shouldn't have won that because they should never have got to that stage. NIP just went open wall, Ossa shield plant. They had 4 impact grenades. All of them got used. I don't know where. Smokes didn't do anything. Shouldn't get to that stage. You mentioned before, Ossa shouldn't even be getting the plant down. Especially when, if I'm not mistaken, the wall, you have to vault through the wall.
Yeah, they had to vault through.
You have to vault through it.
Well, they had the Ossa shield out as they vaulted through.
But
they still took a couple of shots, but one of them could have easily been a headshot.
Oh, tricky, tricky, tricky. But NIP, they've paid the cost for it. 7-6 M80. What's happened, Ollie? NIP were cruising, and all of a sudden we've hit an iceberg. Oh,
Made to start things off there. Cons, he is going to
he can't
suffer.
make it up.
Not the start that you want.
He's just trying to get his utility placed and just a nade.
Especially when it's overtime match point in favor of M80. In a great position now to take this upper bracket final. Send NIP into that lower bracket. Great shot there from Wizard on the response though. Feels cagey. Feels a little bit slow. I think Wizard's done a good job there to just play it a little bit aggressively, play a little bit, you know, risky if you want to. Get himself one back. Still a lot of util available here for M80 to work with though.
Yeah, certainly. Flores, an operator they haven't really mentioned really at all today. Only a strong operator, obviously has a flashbangs, which we know has been a great selection of choice. But equally, as we talk about the droning, you know, the Roterans, they can't see past the blockers either, so he doesn't really know what he's going into. Could it be the mute jammer, which we know is the biggest counter to Flores, for example? Muzi, he's got a Candela coming his way. He's full blind. Ollie, is there any follow-up? Is there any protection from Psycho? That's the real question. No, he doesn't even need it. He's outlasted the flash. Spoit is there with the refrag. Warden was not needed in the end of that. The fact that Muzi's got away with a kill, Ollie, is massive for his side.
Just a little bit too long between the flash and actually going to push that, but Kino wanted to flash the 90 as well. Diaz with the TK. No, you can't just stand still after doing that. You've got to react. That could be crucial here, as it does put M80 at a man disadvantage. 35 seconds left to go. Diaz.
Where's Gomez?
Going to be feeling that pressure now to try and back up his team. Gomez is going to make his way up those main stairs. Is it going to be that easy, though? Especially with Wizard at the top. Wizard, one of his Wamai discs has been eaten up there. Is he going to get a chance to replace the second? Gomez allowed that access up onto those main stairs. The diffuser, not in the hands of anyone. 15 seconds left to go, and a great swing from Pino. Sees them both cut down. Every round available is going to be required here on Villa.
We're going all the way. Daz, all 15.
Deary me. Real unfortunate TK there. Was that Spoit repelling in and Diaz was just behind him as that happened?
Just one of those.
Felt like he got placed quite deep into the corridor there for that repelling. That was the case. Look at that nade. Great little bit of parkour.
The lineups.
This was fantastic from Muzi.
Honestly, getting that kill. I'm on the Ying as well.
Honestly, he probably would have got the second if he hadn't moved as well. I think he was trying to reposition himself.
Yep.
Ah, unfortunate. Yeah, it was Diaz that was coming in.
Just sends you through just a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Great distance. Just a head scratcher. That's a good summary. Kino, a head scratcher around there with a TK. He's doing our job for us, Ollie.
Final round of Villa. Could be the final round of the night here on the A stream.
Defense back for M80.
It's been good to them so far. You know, we talk about this being a fairly equal match, and yeah, it has been. But I just feel like M80 are a little bit better on the defense.
Yeah, well, they go for the kitchen, which was a much better site that they had last time, being able to play aggressive. We've seen the jump back tap from Spoit iconic over towards study window, being able to also pick off players on said bedroom balcony. So it was a much better, compelling argument for it. So this is the third time we're seeing it. I wonder what NIP are going to do, because obviously NIP are trying to go into bedroom, verticality, very slow, that's the way they do. Worked the first time, didn't work the second time. So now they're at a dilemma. Do we chance it again, or do we just do something different?
I think the difference this time is you've not got Spoit looking to play aggressively out of closet. And this was the round where Spoit jumped himself out, got the kill to the guy on the drone, and there was a little bit of team play there between him and Gomez. That isn't happening this time.
They've got the pulse more, haven't they?
So there is still potential to get yourself into Master and to try and affect a little bit more that way. The direct side pushes this time, for this map at least, haven't really worked well for either side. Yeah, sure, we might send a plant down here and there, but that's very quickly been thwarted.
Yeah, not too many plants that we've seen really work. It has been just about the kills, hasn't it, today? Look at the Pyjamas getting a lot of value there. Only 2 drones. It's picked up towards the red corridor, just beside the grandfather clock. NIP, what are they thinking of going for? Because they haven't put any pressure above. They're just looking maybe for a laundry plant. Whenever you're looking at seeing where teams are going to go for, as we're now, we're black and white back again. Always look see his diffuser. Whoever's diffuser, that'll give you a good indication of what teams are thinking.
The thing that I like about this is that we've got the Musi on the IQ with the diffuser. So things like the Fenrir gadget are very quickly dealt with. It isn't a surprise. You know it's going to be there. And that is just going to allow you a little bit more time to act in the moment appropriately, as opposed to getting caught out with things. So maybe they are just going to go for a little bit more of a direct approach here. Con's going to look to try and get that wall open. Still no progress, and they're not committing too hard to it.
Yeah, now they're shifting towards Pantry. There's 3 of them out there. Cons will take the diffuser. They're playing hot diffuser here. It seems to be back and forth amongst them. They're not really sure who wants to take it. M80 haven't really had to do much. Most of them just sat still the majority of the round. Wizard is downstairs knocking on the garage door, and look who's ready to answer it. Spoity's downstairs. Oh, the P90 does rip into one, but Cons is there with the refrag. But even still, that's good information. Now they know there's still one more player below downstairs in the basement, who then gets eliminated by Gomez. Diffuser called downstairs in the basement. M80 are in a great position now, Oli, because NIP, they're going to need to move men now downstairs.
And Gomez can just try and play this as well. He doesn't need to move from the basement, regardless of what happens anywhere else. As long as he's able to keep himself alive, he's done his job here. Psycho, he moves through, takes out Kino. Diaz, he's still inside of Laundry there, but Gomez, he doesn't need to move. The diffuser's cold on the ground. This is a stalemate. It is a waiting game.
Got diffuser.
Been able to pick it up. Gomez finds himself one onto Muzi. Now the pressure comes
Diaz.
in onto Diaz. Diaz, you've got to try and keep yourself alive here. Finds himself a bit of a spray, but the plant starts to go down. The shotgun is drawn for Diaz. He's got a sliver of HP. Gomez, you've got to try and get in onto the action here, my friend. Psycho finds the final 2. NIP. They didn't make it easy to get here to Gamers8, and they are not making it easy here in this upper bracket final. They've taken Villa against all odds. Every single round was played, and it came right down to the wire.
This team, 15 seconds, and they've just jabbed themselves with adrenaline. That's what it's like. They've just finger stemmed them all. The finger's not even there. That's what it's like. Oh, I don't even know.